Welcome to Wisdom Women, the podcast where we meet empowered women from all circles and seasons of life. We talk about the moments that shaped them, the women who lifted them up, and what empowerment really means and what it doesn't mean. From burlesque dancers turned breathwork guides to moms running businesses between school drop-offs, the wisdom here is raw, real, and totally contagious. If you love these conversations, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And welcome with me today, we have my guest, Jocelyn Taylor, here with me. Hey, Jocelyn.
Hey, Rachel. Nice to
I'm
be
so
here.
excited. Thank you so much. I really, I'll explain how I know Jocelyn. So the first time I met you, actually, I was thinking about it before recording, was just in the classes at the Y. We were kind of
Yes.
like gym class buddies. We definitely were like keeping up on this. You were above me in a lot of ways, but like
I
I think I would compete with you and
Well, we
always
were
be like
motivating each other. That's good. That's a good thing.
motivating each other,
Yeah.
buddies.
Mhm.
And then I just gotten to know you more. You've come to some of my booty classes, you came to a retreat, and you are just like turning into this beautiful soul that I'm so happy to have met, building your
I feel the same
business,
way.
doing your yoga. And so I was so excited that you were agreeing to come on today. So that's my side. I would love for you just to introduce yourself and things that you're up to in this world.
Sure. Well, again, I'm happy to be here, Rachel. Like you said, I don't know exactly what class. It may have been in a yoga class. It may have been in a hit and fun. And it really boils down to just your matching energy. Look at, mentioning the working out and going to a gym is because it's about creating choices on how you want to take care of yourself, your
Mm,
mind, your body, and your spirit. And there's no excuse. So whether something's 20 minutes away, whether you have to work a little bit harder, leave a little bit earlier, the fact that you're doing those types of things means that you're consciously making a choice.
mhm.
And that's kind of where my life has always been in terms of I realized it took me many years, well past 50, and I am past 50. I call myself sexty. Now I'm sexy.
Mm,
I turned 60 in March.
I like that.
Yeah. So I say that because it's such an honor to age, so it's
Yeah.
about how you do it.
Mm,
Because, we have to constantly, but you learn a lot more. Really become a big girl and get your big girl panties on when you're about 50, whether you
yeah.
realize it or
Oh.
not. You don't think so because it's not that been there, done that. You're like, I don't need to do that. I'm not over a hill. I'm about to be on top of a summit. I
Mm,
come from a background of many years being, the last 15 years I served as a magazine publisher in New York.
mm.
So I was so used to being, and I like to call myself a player coach. So I love to be in the middle of everything, lead from inside.
Is that
Um,
what led you to coaching? And, like, did you feel like you kinda had a background ready to
yeah,
get
I,
into
I think,
that?
yeah, I think sometimes it has to be a natural feeling that I like people. But the most
Mm,
important thing that I like when I'm coaching and leading is I always know that leaders build leaders.
mhm,
So if I can impart to someone that whether I'm coaching on an advice of something to do, whether it's for their health or wellness, whether it's for a relationship. As I said, I started as being a magazine publisher, and then I started my
mhm,
own business, my agency, about 15 years ago. Um, like you said, it was an easier segue for me because I
mhm.
feel like I was a mentor and I was coaching, especially a lot of young women.
Sure,
Although I had
yeah.
both men and women on my team, it led me to coming up with a colloquialism that I used to say to my daughter when she was young, layer up. And, because used to say to her, as you can see here on my cup, maybe you can see it, I came up with
Yeah.
the design. Let me see, does it show it better here? Yeah. I
Oh,
designed the
yeah.
logo with the hand and then came up with the tagline, choose your voice and layer up.
Yeah.
And I went to Viv magazine, and that was an all digital publication. We're based here in the US, but I had offices in London and in Italy, in
Oh.
Milan, which was so nice. Um, I missed that. I really missed that energy. And to tell you how long ago it was just when iPad 1 came out. So that was so ahead of its time.
Right.
I said, but now I've since started JRT Multimedia, which is my name, Jocelyn Taylor. And he said, we've been looking for a publisher for over a year. And I'm
Oh.
like, oh, but I started my own company. And then he wrote a number down. And I said, when would you like me to start? You could
That's
be
all
my,
yeah,
you
okay,
will
that
be
can
my,
wait.
right. I said, you can be my client. So it's not easy being an entrepreneur, but because you're going to
Right.
have your ups and downs. But at the
Mm,
same time, I was, hired to do marketing and media and strategy.
Mhm.
Wow, it's unfortunate people don't give you the same respect when you're an entrepreneur. So you really have to be tough. It teaches
Yeah.
you resilience.
Like, so much experience and different experiences in your life. I think that's a perfect segue to the questions that I love
Sure.
to ask on this podcast. Because
Okay.
really, thank you for all of that. Like, it's so exciting to hear, kind of different chapters of our life, with different experiences we have, and I think that you will have such an interesting answer to this. I'm not setting it up, but
No, that's
okay.
okay.
The question number 1 that I usually ask my guests here is, who were your like, anything like, I'm just so curious about this. Who were your empowered women role models in life?
Well, outside of my maternal and paternal grandmothers,
Mm.
um, and my mom and my godmother, because that's what the
Sure.
first people you
Yeah.
see. Both maternal grandparents, wow, my one grandmother, my father's mother, was born 1905.
Oh,
She's since been gone, but she lived to 97.
wow.
That was my little lamb child. Um, Both of them, and they were both domestics when they came,
Okay.
yeah, not when they came, they were here. One grandmother, like I said, the one I told you was born 1905, she's actually Irish. And
Wow.
she knew she was adopted, but she didn't let us know, so it was just the opposite. It was funny. She was adopted, but she was Irish passing for a fair-skinned Black woman. She was
Hmm.
actually We found her paperwork. She was ashamed because she was adopted under the circumstance, which is so
Yeah.
crazy. I was very close to her. And when thank God she just left the gems behind for us to find because she didn't want I guess
Mm.
she was embarrassed, but she didn't find out till she was 14. My grandmother was born Gladys Elizabeth O'Donoghue,
Mhm.
and she was adopted at 3 days old. But
Wow.
I only give that as a reference point because there were certain things that opportunities and things she couldn't get. I mean, even though she was born in Massachusetts, and then her family, they came to Philadelphia when she was 14. We're not even talking the 20s.
Yeah.
But through the work that she did and being a domestic, but the fact that she made something for herself at a time in America when it was so hard, for Black people, and she, at that time, even when I would say Black growing up, she was, "That's not nice to say Black, we're colored." I'm like, "Grandma, nobody says colored." So it's just so funny, you see the
Yeah,
iteration
interesting.
that's we've had about 5 different name changes in the last 100 years, so
Yeah.
we've gone from colored to Negro to Black to African American, and I'm like, "Why are we being renamed?" But what I liked about her that they she and her sisters pulled together and bought a home in
Oh,
West Philadelphia back then. A
wow.
big, beautiful home where my father and his brother were born. So, these are women that worked hard. They worked against the limitations of what was in front of them, but they still didn't let it stop them from having the finer things.
Mm.
Yeah, so I grew up around, people that were unapologetically, confident
Okay.
and that's on that side of my paternal side, but on my mother's mother's side, she probably had less than an 8th grade education, and when she came up to New Haven, Connecticut from North Carolina, Wadesboro, North Carolina,
Uh-huh.
during that time where there was a large influx from the late 20s all the way up to the late 50s, where a lot of, Black Americans followed the railroad lines, if you will, especially when we were here on the East Coast, and came up to make a better way for themselves from being in the South. And my
Yeah.
grandmother being part of that, and, she saved enough money, and from the money that she had saved prior to coming up, my mother was in college at the time. My mother went to school in Baltimore, and she was saved her money, but she couldn't buy a home because, at that time, um, Black people were redlined. You were only told
Mm.
you could live in this part of a neighborhood, or you weren't you couldn't buy property. And, so I think it was from a Jewish gentleman that she had befriended. He put the house in his name. He got the
Wow.
house and then later added her and then sold the house to her, the deed.
Wow.
So
That's
again,
amazing.
so I'm saying this is someone with just an 8th grade education, but
Right.
you may have had limitations, so I always felt very proud of and be quite frank, I didn't really find these stories out till later, so it was normalized for me to see productive women that were doing well, that worked, that were integrated into society without saying that in spite of this, this is this. It wasn't that. It was they showed up as their authentic, beautiful selves.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think that they did anything in spite of it. I just saw them being excellent, as women.
Right, that was normal to see that.
And my mom, again, my mother after she graduated and she came up to New Haven because to the family, she started working at Ann Taylor
Oh, okay.
in the accounting department. So
Mhm.
and she came in, he said, "This is the name I'm going to name," and it was a dress called the Ann Taylor. And so that's
Oh,
why he named the store Ann Taylor, but that was the original one on the green in New Haven. Yeah.
wow.
So it's
And you're
about
Jocelyn Taylor.
and I'm
Like,
Jocelyn Taylor, right?
legacy.
There you go. So there's a lot of history, but, my mom, again, I saw someone that was very stylish, very sophisticated. I used to always call her growing up. I'm like, "My mother reminds me of Jackie O." I used to call her the Black Jackie O.
Oh.
Very sophisticated, well-spoken, and again, I
Okay.
didn't take that as an anomaly because all the people that were around were well-spoken and educated, but it was just, I always saw her as very ladylike. Like I said, she was
Yeah.
very Jackie O-ish. That was my mom, how she acted, how she dressed.
Oh.
So, how I loved makeup early on and
Mm.
watch my mother, she would never go out the house, and we're talking about I was born 1965, so that's why I prefaced how old I was because in the mid-60s, 70s, women had a certain je ne sais quoi about themselves,
Mhm.
right? You wouldn't even go to a movie theater. Remember people you would see old folk people who have gloves on and hats, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had
or
I had
fly on airplanes. You had to be
everyone, right.
dressed up.
It was a culture at that time, and I've
Mhm.
always appreciated that, she always took time to have her little her perfume on, and she said, "Jocelyn, you were trying to wear gloves and patent leather shoes." I'm like and she said, "I didn't know how to say patent leather." She said, "So I don't know where you got handy shoes from." And you're like, "Mommy, I wanna wear my handy shoes." And she was like, "Jocelyn, that's too dressy." And she said, "You'd go in the dirty clothes and you'd have a frilly dress, you'd have white gloves on." And she was like, "Baby, we're not going to kindergarten like this. This is absolutely
Oh.
crazy. You can't." She goes, "You'd have a hat on, your gloves, your purse." And even
Yeah.
all through college, I had a briefcase in college going to classes. So
Would you say, like, the qualities of an empowered woman would be I'm hearing, like, sophisticated, confident, like, what are the traits that you would say, "That is an empowered woman, I can
yeah.
feel it."
Yeah, I would say that definitely because confidence is something like we spoke about earlier has to come from the inside out.
Sure.
And so it's something that you wear that's kind of like that aura that people
Mhm.
just see about you. They're drawn to you.
Yeah.
So I think an empowered woman is someone who just exudes, this secret pheromone that's just
Mm.
unapologetically confident and self-assured and curious. That's curiosity keeps you alert. I've seen women when in the job space when I came out of college, one of my first jobs, I worked for a magazine publication. Now, this woman really inspired the hell out of me, even though I've had
Mm.
a couple of professors, but just in the workforce. And I remember her name was Dee Fernandez. And
Mm.
she would come in the office. I worked at Park Avenue.
Mhm.
And it
I
was
did
for
too! Look
yeah, it
at
was a
us.
third world magazine in the Helmsley building. Remember the Helmsley building right
I
there?
was down on the 20s, but yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, I was in the Helmsley building in the '40s, and, I got the job, but when Dee would come in, I mean, I noticed everything. She just looked like a commercial. I mean, she was just self-assured, and at that time, I thought she was so much old. She was 36. That's nothing. But
Alright.
she was the publisher of the magazine, of the
Okay.
Americas. They had another office, and it was very much like a Financial Times magazine.
Mhm.
Like, Financial Times used to all come in that y like a light orangey color. But, I mean, she would walk in and her literally the coat that she had on, the lining, the shirt matched. And then the
Ooh.
beautiful so she was wearing Chloe. At that time, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I don't know where I'm gonna be in the next 10 years." I'm like, "I wanna dress like her." I just love the way she wa sometimes you can just tell how a person walks in a room, how they own the room. And she used to be like, "Good morning,
Yes.
Jocelyn." And I was like, "Good morning, Dee." So it was but that setup really from seeing my grandmothers, my mom, seeing this woman D, it was just like it just made me it made me have goals, hashtag goals.
Yeah. Sure.
And the other thing that it taught me too, Rachel,
Yeah.
is the empowerment was from coming from me, not from one day when I meet someone and I marry him and
Yeah,
I'll have
right?
money. I had that strong drive for what I could bring to myself would be the type of man that I would attract, not
Yeah.
to rescue me, but to compliment me. But I was like, so if my energy is like this, then that'll be the kind of guy that I'll meet. I want somebody that's going to be on my
Let's
level.
say that again. That is very, very beautiful. It's like, whatever I become empowered, embodied, that's what will something that will complement me will be my even friendships, I find that, like
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah. No,
the more
totally.
work I do on myself and my confidence, empowerment in my work, that's kind of who I start attracting. Yeah.
Been married, divorced, my daughter's 28 for years, and I have my home by myself. But often when there's things that have to get done, when I've asked my gardener to take care of pruning and he hasn't, I'm not like, now I don't have anyone. I'll either go to Home Depot and rent whatever
Right.
electrical, tools I need, or I'll go to a friend and say, "Can I
Yeah.
borrow your hedge clippers?" And when I do these things, I used to at first like, "Oh God, I wish I could have someone help me." But I'm like, thank God I know how to do it. I'm like, this is only making me stronger. So if
That's a
you,
word that's come up a lot in these, podcasts and these interviews is, resourceful. That
yeah,
the women who kind of exude that empowerment feeling tend to be like or are learning to be resourceful. Like, all right, what's
and
here's the
self
problem.
resilient because you
Yeah.
don't look at it as why me. But and here's the word, Rachel. I used to say I want someone to compliment me. I'm right now. I'm not looking for a man or a boyfriend. I'm too old for a boyfriend. I need a champion.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just a champion. So someone that sees me through how they see themselves. So if you see me through the reflection of how you see yourself, then you'll see someone that is um a friend that's reliable,
Uh-huh.
that's we said self-resilient, that works hard, but also knows how to be vulnerable. Because
Yeah.
vulnerability is not a weakness. It's matter of fact, it's your strength that's allowing you to know, I know when to fall back. But you
Yeah.
just want to know the right person to fall back with. I mean, and
Yeah.
sometimes with men, that can be a topic for them because they sometimes don't think they have to be vulnerable because they always have to be on and strong. But
Yeah.
when you are a woman, sometimes we think that too, especially if you've been divorced or you've been in situations where you're like, "Oh, I don't have anyone," or, "Yeah, I always tell women, even though we didn't talk about this, stop saying your marriage failed because
Mm.
it's not it was just a part of your life, it was a puzzle in your life. Your marriage
Mhm.
does not fail. It didn't
Mhm.
fail. Matter of fact, it just expired. It went as far as it could go, and
I
that
mean,
it doesn't mean that
sometimes I
you're a
feel
fault.
like it's like a graduation, like
Mhm.
that relationship or I've had, friendships that just that time was just kind of
You
done
expired. Yeah,
and I'm kind of moving on to something that doesn't align anymore in some
right.
way of where I'm going. But I love that. I could do a whole other podcast on maybe like men being with empowered women. I feel like that could be so
And
interesting. Like
it can
in
be difficult too, and it's been hard to find those because they kinda it's
mm,
so kinda like Maya Angelou's "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." It's like
yeah,
they the very thing that they find beautiful and they want you somehow to be fragile in order for them to feel empowered. So it's a thin line. It's hard to find,
sure. Yeah.
Jamie from Outlander, you know? Do you watch that
Sassenach.
show? Are you Yeah, I love that show. I love it.
I do
Sometimes
too. I
it's
have
just
to it is like a guilty pleasure, although I haven't read the books, but I get so much from Claire. Like,
yeah.
I
Talk
love
about
how
empowered.
she's, seen as this, witch in some ways, even though she was just smart.
Yeah.
She was just really smart and she could understand and resourceful
The word
and,
came out of
all
my
right, she's
head. Yeah.
definitely one of my empowerment role models. This is a
Yeah.
beautiful character, right?
It really is. But I
So
love
any
how
Outlander
Jamie but
fans.
to that point, don't you love how Jamie sees and respects that?
Yeah. Because he thought that's men had to manage their
Because that's
woman
how
and
the
all
culture was around him, and he said,
exactly.
"I
So
have to bring you up here because you spoke
yeah,
out of turn," because look at the time, we're talking about what, in the 1700s, and so
100%.
and
So he's had
instructing.
this modern woman
Yeah,
that he loves, and he has to choose, am I going to be a part of her and all her essence and empowerment and who she is, or, not? Because
and it says a
she's
lot about
mine.
men too, though, because being able to be a compliment or champion to a confident woman, an empowered woman, speaks to whether or not how they see themselves because
Yeah.
often men are insecure about things and we're very
Yeah,
strong
sure.
women. Most women are stronger than I know I am, you may know you are, but there's a lot of women that don't rise to their empowerment, if you will.
Yeah.
They kind of, and I've had women even say to me, like, Josh, why don't you just kind of play it down, play dumb? I'm like, why? Am I gonna play anything? This is
Right.
I'm not as
Play
long as I'm not doing
small.
something to hurt someone, I would
Right.
never do anything to speak out of turn or put someone down. My confidence is not a way of making me feel better so someone feels worse.
Show on, I do. I think I have hope. I feel like there's a little, I have 2 boys I'm raising. I'm like, I have hope. There's some kids and boys that are really, emotionally intelligent. I could talk to you about this all day. I'm mindful. I'm watching our
Oh,
time, and I know
I'm
I
sorry.
know you're doing great. Like I could sit and do another chapter, and maybe I'll have you back, and we'll have to
Okay,
like hear
yeah, I
more about
forgot that you have a
chapter 2
ton.
of this story here. But I would love to do on this season for Wisdom Women, we're doing um a rapid fire of questions.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you the first question that I'd love to
Mhm,
hear your answer. So, power word. What's the
mhm.
one word that instantly makes you feel strong and unstoppable?
Discernment.
Discernment. Yeah,
Yep, because that means I'm
heard
always
that.
alert and open, and I can never give the excuse like, "Well, I didn't know. No one said this." That means I'm up on stuff.
Okay.
I'm tight. I know, so it's like I know how to discern, like,
Good choice. Yep.
yep.
Beautiful. Okay.
Mhm.
Number 2, your magic fuel. What's your go-to food or drink that powers your energy?
I know it sounds corny, but clean water. I filter my water.
No. Yeah.
It may sound corny, but when I can go to a restaurant and ask, I'll have would you like water? And I'm like, "Is it filtered?" "I think so."
Give me the bottled.
"No, it's not." No, I'll have a glass of red wine, please. At least it has reverse
Right.
salt." And, I'm like, "No." Because again, it goes back to discerning.
Yeah.
I want something that I know that's clean, it's going in my body, and I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
Oh, clean
I'm a bit
water.
of a water snob. I designate. I just it is what it is.
Yeah,
Water is
clean
life.
water. Yep.
So important. Okay. Number 3. One kryptonite word. What is the word for a thing that drains your power the fastest?
Negativity.
Mm.
When I say that, and I should find a better word for it. It's not a word sneaky negativity, but when doubters. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't like when people doubt something saying, "Well, what if this happened?" What's the right word? Maybe it's not negative, like, "Well, what if
Oh,
that
yeah, no,
doesn't
like,
happen?"
yeah,
It's,
exactly. Pessimistic, like, just everything
pessimism.
everything could go bad,
Yeah,
everything could go
that's the word I
wrong.
wanna use. So, because
Yeah.
pessimism is negative. So I'm like, pessimism.
Yeah.
Because you can say the glass is either half full or half empty. So let's go with it being half full
Yeah, why
and see,
not?
and let's have some fun with it. And I always say the biggest mistake you could ever make is being afraid to make one. Take a
To make a
risk.
mistake. I
Make a
love
mistake.
that.
Matter of fact, you're gonna learn something from it. So
It's a
pessimism
gift.
in people that because it hinders them from moving forward or making decisions, or they're wondering. I'm an Aries, so I'm already running to the races, and I'm like, I'd rather break a hoof and let another one grow back or bandage it, and then we'll find out later. I'm not gonna worry about it. I
Oh,
just like it's just
you're a
like,
fire sign like me, very
yeah, that's right.
similar.
You're sad. Just like carpe
Sag.
diem. Let's go.
I break a lot of hooves, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's
We're
okay.
that's how I learn.
That's how you
That's
learn.
me.
So
Okay,
pessimism would be the word. Yes.
pessimism.
Hmm.
Awesome. All right, the next, number 4, soul tool. What's the one practice, meditation, journaling, for example, movement that you would never give up?
I guess it's all encompassing because when you say yoga, which is, yoga, it
Mm.
gives you all of that because it's a lifestyle.
Mhm.
So I'm never giving that up, from the breath work, which is the pranayamas, the movement, which is the asanas.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't, I was searching today. I was like, is anybody, I was like a crack addict. Nobody's having, I was looking on all apps for why. I'm like, oh,
Yoga
damn, there's no,
class.
yoga classes. I'm going crazy. Like, I have to do that. So I did my sun salutation, Surya
Mm.
Namaskar before I left, but, yeah, I gotta be engaged.
Body movement. Okay.
Because it's everything, it's encompassing, it's a lifestyle. So, yeah.
I definitely came to that later in life, and I think it was something I was always missing, and I met this kind of psychic person that said, oh, not a psychic, it was a human design. Brenna, who was one of my guests on the show,
Mhm.
said, "You need to process things through your body. It's just the way that you process emotions, thoughts, ideas, creativity. This is where," and I'm like, "That is so true." And I think it's true for a lot of women, not just me, but, especially just that has been something that has shifted, and I would never give it up. I'm the same as you is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm on the
Yeah,
boat with
I
you for
can't, I will
sure.
never.
Last question we have for
Mhm.
you here.
Okay.
This is the final one. What is your rise word? What is one word that sums up how you would want women to feel after hearing some of your story today?
That's an easy one. And I know you're gonna say inspired. Curious.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I
I
want them
like
you
that.
could I don't need you to be inspired. I need you to be curious, because I want to be like, "I'll have what she's eating. wanna
Yeah.
think I wanna get a little bit deeper, and we didn't talk about foods and stuff and my new program, which is well, like you said, that'll be
And
another
we'll do that here
yeah,
as we
with
wrap, yeah.
holistic luxury living, but
Curious, huh?
yeah, curious because curious keeps you on your toes. It
Or yeah, right, like you said, this a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe
yeah.
not that, but, like,
Yeah, curious
exploring.
makes you interesting because now it's like, "Hmm." And now that we live in this fabulous world where everything is on our phones, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And now you just can just press something, you don't even have to type it, you can just
You
speak
don't
it,
have to learn it,
and you've
right?
got this at your fingertip. Stay curious.
Love it.
Keep your mind open so that you can learn something, ask questions for human
Nice.
beings. That's important to me. So,
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. That's, beautiful. It is inspiring even though it's, causing curiosity,
Oh,
so
so
that's
I should
very
say it
nice.
like this way, inspirationally curious.
I like that. Yeah.
Stay curious, my friend.
Stay curious. Well, at the end of every podcast that we do here, and we're gonna put in exactly I would love to hear all the stuff where people can find you and work with you.
Sure.
But we do pull a card at the end, so I'm just clearing out the energy, and I'm gonna start shuffling these cards, and when you intuitively feel for me to stop shuffling, you say stop.
Okay. Stop.
Alright, this is it. Okay. Oh, this is an oracle card, and this one's around loss.
Oh.
This is the Divine Abundance deck by Tosha Silver. It's a very beautiful deck, and I love it because
Yeah.
it's simple. It's just the cards. And it says, "Sometimes you learn true offering through loss. You make a passionate invitation for love to take over and bring her own plan instead of the ego's." Ooh, so I'm hearing detachment in here of, like, what we think our plan is
Mm.
and maybe allowing another plan? I don't know. How does that card read for you? What do you think?
Did you take it from a love perspective or did loss in terms of just in what
Anything. Oh,
category?
I'm thinking of, like, the grand plan, life's purpose, where I should be
Mm.
in my life at each moment, and sometimes it's like, integrating that with, and grieving it if it's something that I had a plan of the way I was gonna do my life, and then, I don't know, allowing in a bigger picture? What do you
I like
think?
that. I like what you just said because you have to discern, eliminate, and balance in your life in
Yeah.
order and that means eliminating is one of the main things because in order to get the balance back, that means you have to, if you were on a ship that was and the captain said we're gonna have to start throwing things over so that we won't capsize, think of your body that way, think of your mind and spirit that way. There's certain
Mhm.
things that you have to let go of, old ideas, things that no longer work. And then
Yes,
that
totally.
balances you to say, what can I be ready to receive? So
Oh,
I receive that. And my mom just
oh,
passed away this year. So
oh, I'm
this is
sorry.
coming around the anniversary of her birthday will be in November. And so I look at this as, sometimes the things that a person couldn't say, this was her 89th year. So she would have been 89 this year, but it's still sometimes you don't realize that even your mom, they start off as a person before they were your mother. Like us, we're
Yeah.
mothers. Sometimes kids
Right.
don't understand that. And so sometimes you can't always articulate things that you may have wanted to say out loud or
Mhm.
everyone doesn't have the personality to be verbose, So, the loss right now, I just had a dream about her this morning, but it was all nice. It was just very so sometimes it's that memory too, like just letting you know I'm with you and
Yeah.
that you're being things that are gonna happen in your life next, you're being led, that you're not lucky that you're being led because now it's your time. And delays and what seems like losses are really things that are preparing you for the direction that you're supposed to be going in. Just,
And that's what they say, right, about Ganesh, the elephant. It's that they'll create obstacles to push you in the right path
yeah.
sometimes, it's actually on purpose, and, I mean, I appreciate you sharing that about your mom too, because you shared a little bit about her story
And
today
you
and
didn't realize that she had yeah. So the loss,
no.
I just think that she's not with me in the physical and every some but she's still with you. So that's that
Yeah.
and that
That's
that there's
beautiful.
still love around you and protection and guidance. I mean, at least,
And
that's
guidance.
how I think of things.
That's really nice. Okay, so before we wrap at the rest of our time here, why don't you
Yeah,
just tell us briefly where people can find you and, how to work with you?
sure. Well, I'm gonna put the camera down so you can see this a little bit better. So
Hey.
it's like holistic Luxury Living with Jocelyn. This is
Yes.
my newest brand. Like I said, I'm like a mad scientist. It's a lifestyle wellness company that I started, and it was inspired by how I've, these cycles of my own life. This is why you see the Triskelion. as
Uh-huh.
my, old Celtic, maybe
Yes.
subconsciously paying homage to my grandmother, the
Oh,
Irish
yeah.
Celtic, didn't even think of it. But, it comes from strength, foundation, and, the life, death, and rebirth. It's a constant
Okay.
cycle. It's the way I think of
Alright.
ourselves with going through our cycles of perimenopause, menopause,
Mhm.
andropause for men.
Being with people
And I'm
to, like,
partnering
help
with
them through
brands and
that.
services. I'm doing individual. So I'm basically accessing yogic philosophy and Ayurvedic wellness techniques along with my life and health coaching because I got my life and health coaching certification a couple years ago, which I
Okay.
have clients. And so if you go to holistic luxury living with Jocelyn.com.
All the descriptions will have the
Yeah,
links
but
in
I'm
there too.
using smart technology, quantum health, where I have a partner out of Prague where we put the if someone wants this part of the program, the 90-day self-healing, and I create these capsules, if you will, these 90-day capsules to really help people prepare them for their blueprint. I'm helping you with movement, understanding why certain parts of you are blocked in those
Uh-huh.
chakras or those energy
Uh-huh.
points that you may have not understood from from a traditional Western perspective. So I'm using a lot of Eastern technology, and crystals and different things to help people like access other ways to heal. And the
Alright.
self-healing is to do things in advance of to mitigate opposed to waiting for something to happen. This is what I'm doing now. And so I use, like I said, yogic philosophy,
Okay.
Ayurvedic wellness, and the virtual reality where people can actually put this gaming and they can actually play games that it breaks down their neurological responses. We put something here right under the arm so you can get all the cardiovascular and things that are happening at the root of you that you wouldn't have to get poked with a needle or wait until something happens. And this
Okay.
analogy was built, out of Prague.
It is.
Doing sessions at a metaphysics, center in Montclair on Church Street, if for our Jersey people listening.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did one 2 weeks ago, it was very successful, and I'm doing them every month, but I had, like, 20 people. It was more than we thought we were only gonna have 5, and
Okay.
it was about what's your pause power,
Oh, yeah.
PAUSE. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm doing my next one, it's all about, um, peri, mena, and andropause. I
That
help people
link,
with
if
all
there will
this.
you have updates of, like, events on your website and stuff like that too? Like, when you do these things and
Yeah, so like I said, the next one's no I gotta get to my guy, but the next one's November 30th,
November 30th? Okay.
in
Well, I'll put that
Montclair.
details here too and
Yeah,
how
I
they
already
can
have the
sign
link,
up.
it's already yep, you can sign up for it.
Okay.
So it's kinda like a multi-sensory experience. I have
Yes.
sound bowl healing music playing, and so
Beautiful.
when people walk in, they just are like, "Oh my god, this is beautiful."
Well, thanks, Jocelyn, so much. I'm gonna
You're
include all
welcome.
of those details here in the description of this, and
Uh-huh.
this will be up on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and our video will be there. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much again, Jocelyn, for taking the time to share, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you for having me part of it, Rachel. I enjoyed speaking with you
My
today about and
pleasure.
women, and hopefully we've inspired other women as well.
Absolutely. Take
Yeah.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.